here. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming to our second update. This is basically 6 months and 15 days from the day that we closed escrow. So we're excited to let you guys know what's going on and share some good news about what's happening in our little adventure here. Let's see. Wait. This is, so today we're just gonna, if you remember, this is what we're investing in, 16 buildings and 2 storage. Yeah, I think 16 buildings and 2 storage. It's a 64 unit hotel and 120 unit storage. If you guys don't mind, just go ahead and put it all on mute because I'm hearing an echo. So if you could, that'd be great. And then we'll, you know, just feel free to stop me anytime and ask questions, or we can wait until the Q&A at the end. But basically, today we're just going to talk about what's been happening in the last 6 months. We'll go over some sales and marketing and market conditions that's going on there that everyone should be aware of. We'll go quickly through the financials, and then we'll do some updates on our next steps and projections, and then what to expect. You guys can expect as investors going forward. I am recording this, and then I will send out the recording plus the deck after this meeting. So if anyone is missing, you can also follow up and, you know, get caught up that way.
And then the third attachment, Cam, is going to be the Dropbox with the pictures of the professional pictures we took. Yes,
we'll do that. If you guys would like to see what the asset really looks like in its best light, Jeff was really nice enough to organize a professional photography group that they specialize in hotels, and they made our property shine. If you haven't seen the video that we sent out at Christmas time, this is the raw images that we'll send out after this.
This was done from a drone. A lot of these from a drone. So they did day pictures, they did night pictures. We had a beautiful sunset that night, as you can see. So some of them are really great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're moving forward then. So here's the team, in case you forgot the mugshot of who the management team are: Jeff, Lindsay, myself, and Sonny Monroe, who was kind enough to sell us the asset, as well as he built it and now is a partner also, and is staying on as an advisor. And then Sam Agee, with years and years of experience and a lot of hotel under his belt, is also our advisor. I think Sam is at a church event tonight, so he can't make it, but I think everyone else is here in case you guys have questions. Okay, the best news of all, that's baby Sam. He is our latest staff member. He was born in December, Lindsay?
December 16th.
Yeah, December 16th.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to know the code to the game room, it's 1216.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's Papa Bear. That's not Papa Bear, the Grandpapa Bear and Grandmama Bear with the baby, Sonny and his wife. And there's the cutest family ever. He's already been out fishing, guys. If I know how to, okay. And so moving on. Anyway, he's super duper adorable. Watch baby pictures all day long. But in case you are wondering or you've forgotten, here's the team that is running the hotel. This is our staff members here. And so updates from the last 6 months, I'll turn it over to Jeff. You want to get to talk us through?
So I know that Cam, you mentioned a little earlier. First of all, Lindsay is back. We had a great transition. You know, we were all a little nervous. Lindsay her first child, us just purchasing the hotel, going into, a busy situation and learning, et cetera. We were very lucky that things went extremely well with Lindsay. She was more than gracious to help us as we had questions. The AGM, Christina, who we had been training up to this point, and she did a great job stepping in and being a AGM, and we really didn't miss a beat. So Christina stepped in, and Christina or Lindsay will tell you that she exceeded our expectations. So we've kept her on as that AGM position. Lindsay has stepped back from full time to basic quarter time. So Lindsay is still answering calls at 9 in the morning, 7 at night if we need her. And then she works basically from 12 to 4, 12:30 to 4:30, et cetera. So it's a really good situation. We didn't lose a single employee. We made them promises at the beginning to keep things as they were with the previous ownership. All the staff has remained. Everybody's happy. The consistency within the hotel. So we couldn't have asked for a better thing in terms of staff development. It cost me a little bit money in Starbucks. They love it when I come because between hot chocolates and vanilla cappuccinos, et cetera, they get those in the morning. And but everybody's happy, and it's a great team, and we enjoy it. So capital improvements, we've gone in and we spent.
Jeff,
Yeah.
before you go on, could you talk about the pay raise and bonus also?
Yeah, I mean, the pay raises, like I said, in bonuses were kept in lieu of exactly what Sunny was doing, which was every April they were giving pay raises. And we did evaluations which weren't done prior, but I met with each employee for about 30 minutes, made notes, et cetera. And they had great ideas, and we're implementing a lot of those ideas, and they were actually thankful for the opportunity to meet and go from there. We've kept up with all of the bonuses that Mr. Sunny gives, based on the hotel performing well, and based on service standards, and based on time with the hotel. So all of those have been kept within the same fashion as they were before, and everybody's happy with it. So, and they got their pay raises on this first paycheck, and they'll get another one next May 1st. So it's an annual basis based on May 1st. Capital improvements. There was really, you go into these situations, you look at the hotel. I look at the hotel and look at the one-piece showers and some pitting faucets and things like that, older toilets. But you talk to the people with the fish fries and the socials and the people who come in the front desk, they love the hotel as is. So the general philosophy is, if it's not broke, why fix it? Obviously, there's things to do in terms of preventative maintenance and keeping the hotel well maintained. So that's kind of the mindset we went into it with. One of the main was we had a half window moon above the windows. If you look at that bottom right picture, and that center window used to be a half moon. So we had all of those at 38 rooms. We painted the windows black, and then put a couple studs and sheetrocked them in, and painted the entire room, recocked all the baseboards, recocked all the floors, deep cleaned everything, and we went with almost like a repose day. And then you could see in this picture, which is our sample room, we're going back with a valance and a blackout shade with some blue drapes, and we're getting a blue bed skirt to pull it all together. The feedback has been phenomenal. We have a lot of people that work at night, and so for them to come back and be able to sleep during the day and have a dark room has been well received and noted within a lot of our guests. So that was one of the feedbacks. Another feedback we had was the cable system. I don't know how many of you travel, but you go to some hotels and the channels are 76.1, 76.2, 81.1, 80.2. So we went in and changed it to a digital cable. It's one that's provided a lot for hotels and commercial properties. It's 99 channels. Our cable bill is actually going down by $300, and we're getting a better service. And instead of having TVs, right now, the current TVs, we had 5, 6 different remotes in the front desk. When people would call down to complain, didn't know what remote they had, and it had a, as of this week, matter of fact, today the people showed up to do the final install, but people are loving the new cable. The system has worked well, and we're in good shape. So we've done some Terry and linen upgrades. We're adding and increasing our rotation. We've switched some of the light bulbs in the room to go with full LED and make them a little brighter, which will help save on electric. So yeah, we spent some money on light bulbs, but overall it'll save us money and energy. The exterior sign was not lit when we bought it. So we bought some new lights for the storage, and then we paid a couple $100, $300-400, and had the main sign fixed. We spent about $4,000 or $5,000 and went through and gutted the landscaping, had it all retrimmed back, had it all maintained and cut back to a level. We thought we were going to have to stuff and tear out a lot of stuff, but when they cut it back, we decided that the budget of spending $20,000 to $25,000 to fix it, once they cut it back, we're just going to add some flowers to add some curb appeal around the lobby. And other than that, we're going to leave it as is because it really looks sharp and it looks great from the road. So some things to maintain the hotel, some things we're going to look at is rooms with paint. We still have some original toilets. So we're going to look to change out some of that. Other than that, we're continuing as is in with the hotel. And as we mentioned earlier, we had some professional photos done and a drone. We've created a new website, and we'll send out the link with those pictures. The website's great, marinersuites.com. And I know Cam and her team out there, and I know some of you might have involved in it, are looking to maximize in the site and go from there. So the site now running has been turned over to Cam and Matthew and her team, and they're going to optimize it, etc. So we've made some improvements. We've done some good things. We've trained some staff in getting some surveys and getting better things within the market for both the storage and the hotel. And we've made some great strides in some of the way we're tracking the guests. So it's been a great 6 months in terms of the operations of the hotel. Really give it to those people in the picture, because the smiles you see on their face are how they really are in real life. And it is a blast. It is a blast down there. It's one of my favorite hotels in 20 some years of going to. I call it Camp Mariners. I leave my room with my book bag on and walk to the lobby, and it's just a great place to go. And I encourage you all, if you get a chance, to go there and spend some time. It's a great place to go for a couple days. So with that, Kim, we can go to the next one.
Okay. So sales and market update. Let me just start with the occupancy and trends a little bit, just a general overview. We're going to give you real raw numbers on the couple slides down, but basically we are heavily dependent on the base, the military base that is based on there. That's the majority of all hospitality in that region. We just happen to be the closest hotel to that. And so with the Ukraine conflict, all the boats are out, which means the boats are not being worked on. So we're heavily impacted by that. But luckily, we have brought on board a terrific marketing manager, Melissa, and she's done an amazing job just to get new businesses, which Jeff is going to talk to next. Yeah. And so we're mitigating that. So then, it could have been a lot worse, but Jeff can talk to how it's being backfilled. Yeah. The other two things that is a trend in the market that we need to kind of let you guys know a little bit about is Home2 is a new extended stay. It's being opened down the street, not down. How far is it away, Jeff? 2
miles. 2 miles. It's right at the exit.
Mm-hmm. So it's a new extended stay hotel that's going into the market, and so we'll see some competition, but I think that still there's lots of room for us to grow still, and lots of opportunities for both, for us and for them to succeed. So we don't feel too threatened. Additionally, there's a new 500 storage facility that's opening about 5 miles away, which will bring some competition, but we think that we're going to absolutely be fine because the area that we're in also is expanding. So, so those are some of the headwinds in terms of the market trend. Jeff, you want to talk about the
Sure.
new accounts?
Yeah, so Cam said, just to reiterate, that the war in Ukraine, what we found out from a lot, talking to a lot of our guests, is what Norfolk Navy base and what a lot of these bases are doing to prevent anything at home is they've taken some of these ships and sent them out all over
Sorry, my bad. Okay.
They've sent them out. Cam, need to go backwards. All right, they've sent them out into the Pacific and the Atlantic, basically all over the place, so that we don't get struck and in a Pearl Harbor type of situation. So the bad thing is they've gone out. Where we were supposed to have a ship May through July and run 95%, we don't have that right now. The good thing is the base is tripling in size, and we've used Melissa, who's our sales manager, who runs extended stay products for another company, but she is out of Charleston and does a lot of the Navy base here and a lot of the same accounts that are used down there. So we've picked up companies like Alberici, who, when we first took over this hotel, Sonny and Lindsay did a super job with companies such as the Norfolk Navy base and Electric Boats and some of those that are doing a lot of work on the ships. And one of our goals was to extend out so we weren't so reliant on just base business just in this situation. So Alberici, who's working on the dry docks, et cetera, has come in and got 12, 13 rooms through June, July. MC Dean is another company that's working on base. Shipbuilders, company AECom, Fence Builders, all these companies have come in, and out of the 130-some thousand we did in April, about 67,000 of it was from just these new accounts. So we're very have that. Now, everyone can say, oh, wow, these ships are out, we're not doing well. Well, it's just like anything, eventually you have to do work on your house. Eventually these ships are going to need work. So I kind of look at it as a positive. They've already said that they're bringing one back no matter what in October. So if you look at the positives, we're going to have these ships in October and all next year because they're going to have to catch up and refurb these ships to make them seaworthy, et cetera. And the good thing is because of what's happening with inflation and what we're hearing from the GAO and the government on per diem is to keep up with inflation, they're going to have to increase the per diem come this September, October. So where per diem's at $96 now, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that $100 to $102 mark come September, October. So if you start taking 96 to 102 and take $6 on top of every room times 50, 55 rooms, it'll be significant going into this fall and again into next year. So having this business, come in as the per diem goes up, I think will be significant to our business and go from there. I do think the Home 2 is going to hurt us. The good thing is it's a smaller property. I think it's only 70 rooms. We are trying to reach out to them and make contact with them and make good friends. They're out of Atlanta, et cetera. They've planned this hotel years ago. It died when COVID came. And then now that COVID's over, they've started it. They haven't even started going vertical. They're just doing site work, et cetera. So it's at least a year from opening. And then Cam and her, we did some increases. They did some studies with the market, et cetera. Cam, I'll turn it over to you. Cam have done a nice job with the storage and increasing prices and going from there. So Cam, I'll let you talk a little bit about the storage.
Yeah, so storage is a little bit, we knew that we were close to market price, but not exactly at market price. So we had two rent surveys done, one in November of last year and one in February, and again in March of this year before we did the work. So we did a couple of rent surveys, and it showed that we're like a good 35% under market if you take like an average amount. So what we decided to do was do a 20% increase, which is one of the biggest increases we've ever done for in that storage unit. So a lot of our, there were quite a few people in who were renting that were a little shocked by the rent increase. Industry standard shows that if you're at 95% occupancy, you're at full occupancy for storage. And right now, I think we're at 93% or something like that, even with a couple people who left because of the rent increase. So we're good, but we do have about 10 units that we have to rent out, which was expected. So we'll work really hard to get those back in play. But I think in the long run, increasing our prices to current market price will only help our bottom line. So we're experiencing a little speed bump in terms of a couple people leaving, but I think overall the numbers are really good. The income coming from it is still very good. It didn't go down, so we're all good.
We also reduced some of the ones that we had for the hotel store and stuff. And I got to give credit. I know Melissa, our salesperson, has done a good job, but Lexi and Christina and Lindsay at the hotel have really stepped up and really, as people checking in and asking who they're with, what they're doing there, who else is working. And they've helped us get some of these accounts as well. So I can't discount it. Them getting them involved and to see them excited as we get new accounts and new people in, it's really been great. And Lexi and Lindsay and Christina have done a super job helping out and working with Melissa. I pretty much turned it over to those three, four ladies, and they work together. It's been phenomenal to watch. So
yeah, we have a great team.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm still trying to figure out how to. Okay, there you go.
So what we did on the financials is basically, the hotel had probably the best, I think it was the best November the hotel's ever had. It ran like 96%. December ran about 68%. So the hotel did very well when we first took it over November, December. And then so far year to date, 2022, we're still close to that 80% mark. The storage, as you can see, is still hovering above the 90% mark. The storage rate has gone up, and that 99.89 does not include the increase that we just encountered come May 1st. So we're expecting that to go up into the mid to high 120s with the new rents we've taken on, as well as the increase. And overall revenues, you can see, are still strong year to date. We are behind what we had budgeted and projected, but I think, as I said, once we hit this fall season, catch up with some of these ships coming back here in the second half of the year, we'll catch that up and have a very successful year. So we're still running, around 80%, and for ships not to be in, I take that as a plus. The numbers look good. We're more than cash flowing, and the numbers in the bank accounts and everything look good. See, as we're going to send out the first return here in a couple weeks. So, Cam?
Yeah, so then the next step is this is our project plan basically for the next 6 months. We're going to try to complete the light renovation, which we call phase 1, to the 28 rooms that haven't been done. Jeff has an amazing team that comes in, repaint, redevices, all the new window drapes. They've already stretched and repaired all the flooring in the previous round, but what they didn't do for the last round in December, early January of this year, they're going to do that to the 28 remaining rooms. We're going to continue to work on the landscaping and a couple of other smaller improvements around the park. But otherwise, phase one will be complete at the end of that. Phase two, which we told you in the past, was our plan to do the second value add to this property. The first being the light renovation of all the units, but the second one is to add additional storage to that unit. Jeff and I have been working with an architect team and a survey team who has already laid out the beginning of the work for us. We're still working on that, so we don't know exactly the soft costs or the hard costs of the project, but we should have that shortly, probably in the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, if I can interject, the engineer, we have his number. The engineer is great friends with Sonny and Lindsay. He's pretty much retired from where he was working. He's helping us out. To be honest with you, we got invoice, and I was embarrassed to look at it for the amount he had charged us being so low. So he's done a nice job for us in getting the engineering done. We have an architect that has designed the layout of the new buildings, and currently the layout is being sent in steel and a couple other steel companies for pricing. Again, supposedly 60-70% of the world's steel and for raw goods for steel come from the Ukraine and Russia. So the prices of steel have significantly gone. If we get that price, we'll look at the expenses in general and make sure the return is still where we want it to be, and decide either to move forward or to hold off or make on that. And we'll get with y'all once we get these numbers put together as a total budget to as well as revenues and expectations, and go from there. So
yeah, we heard that steel prices were going up at 10% a month or something like that. So we're trying to hustle, but it's going to take a little time for us to flush the rest of it out. If we go forward, we're hoping to have it completed by beginning of summer next year. I think that's the goal. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll give you guys more updates as we move on. And then phase three would be looking into adding additional rooms to the hotel side. The only thing that we're doing in that is we're just kind of looking at exploring the opportunity to buy additional land. So Jeff has been working every time he's down there. We both kind of remind each other to go and like talk to the person next door. So we'll see if that comes together, but that's a little bit of ways. We're right now focusing mostly on phase one and phase two in terms of strategic projects.
The unique thing about the next door land is there is a real estate office to the left of the property, and the real estate office is, if you look at a large rectangle, the real estate office is at the bottom of it. Behind the real estate office is just a bunch of trees and bushes and land that hasn't been cleared, and next to them is houses, behind them is houses. So there's nothing they can do on that land. They basically landlocked them. Mr. Sonny knows the current owner. The current owner has leased it to the real estate company, 2-year option to build or to buy. And basically, we're trying to get a hold of the people that are renting the real estate and say, if you're looking to buy, you all buy the front half, we'll buy the back half, and get the current owner the total that they want, and everybody is happy, and you don't have to buy this whole thing and pay taxes and everything else on land that you don't need. So that's kind of the way we're approaching. It's just been difficult with the times, et cetera, trying to get a hold of people. But that's kind of the approach. Mr. Sonny thinks we can get this land, which is an acre or acre and a half, for $50,000 to $70,000, which we think, based on our engineer who's looked at it, thinks we can get another 4 to 5 buildings, which would be another, roughly 16 to 20 rooms. So with that said, if we can get up into that 80 to 84 range, we'd be in a great spot moving forward. So that's kind of the broad view of where that phase three is. And again, it's in its way early stages, but that's kind of a broad overview of where it's at.
Yeah. So then the last thing is, what do you guys, as an investor, what can you expect from us? We're going to continue our twice a year calls. So this is for the first 6 months. The next 6 months will be in November, when we have like another 6 months under our belt, and that will be 1 year as of November 1st. So we'll have hopefully good numbers for you guys to review. And we'll have some updates and experience from the first year in operations. And then just as an FYI, we had to do some creative paperwork in order to complete the sale of this property, because of the limitation that was put on us because of the loan. We took out a USDA loan and an SBA loan, and some of the changes that needs to be done was we had to change the operating agreement to make the loan work. The biggest one was that, Lindsay and Sunny are our partners, and they have equity share. They invested back into our deal as an investor, and they weren't allowed to be on the cap table. So the biggest change is going to be that. It's just that change plus some other like technical change, but in terms of the terms, everything remains the same. We just need to put the correct amount of the ownership back into the operating agreement. So because we have to do that, everyone has to sign. So just expect to hear from me in the next 2 or 3 weeks to get you to do some DocuSign just to make sure that we're in compliant. So that's coming up. And then the good news is that payments for the first preferred return will be this month. Hopefully we'll get it out by the end of this week for you, if not by Monday. For the first 4% payout, this is the first half of the annual preferred return. So it would be 4% times the amount that you invested in our venture here. The second amount will be done in November after we have 1 year's numbers. And then if we have additional payouts for tier 2 or tier 3, we'll also do that in November. So going forward, that's something that you can expect, that we'll do the first preferred return in the early May. And then the second preferred return will be in November, probably mid-November, right in time for, the holidays, so you can have some spending money. And then if we do tier 2 and tier 3, we'll do it at the November payout.
And the reason this payout is good in terms of scheduling is because we always will meet with our accountant / CPA in November, and he'll look over the books and K1s and where we're at, et cetera. And we'll use him as an advisor as well as Sam going forward on what we should divvy out for tier 2 and tier 3 to make sure we maximize returns and maximize what we need on K1s, et cetera. So we'll do an evaluation, and so doing it in November will work great in terms of making things look good for tax purposes.
Yeah, our fiscal year is the same as the calendar year, so it just works right perfectly. And then the last thing is, we thought this is Albert's brilliant idea. If there's enough interest from the investor group to go out there and take a look, I can help pull together a weekend this fall, maybe early November or early December, if anyone's interested. So it's a fun place. It's a really great way to go out there and take a look and see why we're so excited about this this investment and the future of this investment. So if you want to go out, touch, feel, meet the people, let us know. If there's enough interest, I'll pull it together into a weekend and we can all go out there and take a look. And I think that is it for our slideshow. With that, can I just open up to questions for everybody? Anyone have any questions?
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of muted people. The hotel is doing really well, you guys. We're netting what, 35,000 a month, something like that.
Yeah, we're
Cash.
yeah, even in the slowest month, which is December, yes, the mortgage was 10,000 less, but we net about 35 grand. Our break even, just so y'all know, from an operations expense is somewhere between, on a slow month, 75, a busy month, 80,000. So when you see numbers of 150 plus storage of 20, I mean, when we're hitting 170,000 and our break even 75 to 80, we're putting cash in the bank. And so we're very pleased with it, and we're very cognizant of the money we're spending. And we've had our issues, in hotels very quickly. Lindsay doesn't call me very often, but when you get a call from Lindsay at 7:42, that there's a problem. And we had some guy broke a valve on a toilet that shot out and flooded 2 rooms. And luckily, Lindsay and I'll give credit to, and I know Lindsay will, to Lexi, who just took it, and Bill, the maintenance guy, came in, and we had the cleanup crew, ServPro or whatever, there within an hour and a half, and we were able to save the floors and the furniture. And we thought we were gonna have to file a claim, and it wound up only costing us about $2,600 to clean it up, and a little bit of labor from the staff to get it cleaned up, and everything dried out well, and it worked out well. So, you have those types of things that happen, but knock on wood, we've been in good shape, and the property looks great. And we're just we're ready for Ukraine is what it is. It's hurting everybody. Luckily, we've had some good sales.
Yeah. I think Jeff's computer froze. The other thing that I wanted to,
we would hope right now, on the end run, but within the end run, in the end, all these ships have to come in. So I'm very positive of being in Charleston for all these years and seeing what happens after these, conflicts. Of we're just going to be flooded with business, especially with the shipyard growing by times its size.
yeah. The other thing that I wanted to point out is you all have received your K1. Hopefully you're super duper happy with that. Take it to your accountant. He'll tell you that it's a great thing, because the depreciation that was passed through to all the investors was quite a bit. So take a look, and that should help you with your taxes. And hopefully everybody is excited about that, between the payout of 4% this week and the cost segregation that was done on the property and passed through to our investors. Hopefully you are very, very happy with the results so far. And I think Jeff and I are super duper excited about the future of this project, and the additional work that's going to be added in terms of value to the property going forward. It's a great property to begin with, and the plans that we have for it in phase 1 and 2 and 3, I think is going to just only make it better and better. So
we appreciate you all, and if you don't have any questions now and have any later, Cam, maybe we can just emails and we can go from there. Doug?
So I was just going to ask, with respect to the K1, just to the other investors, and just for my education, but our accountant said that we could not, that K1 is not, we can't do anything with it until the property is sold. Is that how that works for everybody? Or, because there was no advantage to us this year. I've had a couple of people tell me that, and if other people are doing it otherwise, or if there's a way around it and we can, then I'll tell my accountant and we'll redo our taxes.
Doug, you need to call me on that, and I'll set up a call with me and you and Rocky, our CPA. But I had over a $50,000 deduction and stuff on mine, and use it on my taxes, etc. So there must be something that's not right, but we can, I'm happy to get Rocky on the phone and with Laura, your brain trust, and we can go from there.
I have the same experience actually.
Huh.
That it's a matter of passive income versus active income or passive losses.
Okay.
Then let me set up that call. I'll make a note here.
Yeah.
And I'll
I mean,
get
it's not a huge issue. I mean, it will all even out eventually. It's just that we can't realize it in 2022. We won't realize it
Yeah.
until, whatever. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what the real answer is, or how other people are doing it, or getting. I mean,
okay.
like anything, there's probably ways to get around it.
Yeah. But I'll set up a call and get on it, and I'll let you and Laura, Rocky can help explain it. He's done it with us and with Sam and Clancy and everything else. So let's get on a call with them and make sure we're explaining it correctly and go from there.
Yeah, I'll also follow up and see and send you some information to Christoph and you guys. But it's very specific to your personal tax return.
Of course.
Right. And then the other thing, I mean, with all the future investments will come from revenue that's been saved by the company. And I mean, we're not looking for additional investments to do phase 2 and phase 3 projects. Is that correct? Is that the plan?
Well, we'll evaluate, right? The first
Gotcha.
thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what we have in the bank and whether or not we can finance it ourselves. I anticipate that it wouldn't, because some of these capital costs is really huge, especially when steel is going up by 10% a month, right? So we think that we're definitely going to need a loan in order to do the storage. But the good news is interest rate, even though it's been going up, it's still relatively low historically speaking. So it's still quite affordable, and we would be able to, do the financing and pay for the loan. So we think that we can get a loan. But again, the phases as they come up, that's part of the evaluation, is to see how do we finance it. And we'll look at all options, including giving the opportunity for investors to give us the loan, like the current investors who want to get returns on their money to give us a loan versus us going out and paying that interest to somebody else. So there's a number of ways that we're going to look at that, but we won't know until we have the number in hand, even like a ballpark figure. We sort of have a number in hand because we kind of thought it through before we engage all these soft costs, which is much more manageable. But as the project actually takes place, we will have to come up with a plan, and we'll let you know what that is. If we're going out for additional funding or whatever it is, we'll let you know. But definitely if we go to phase 3 and we're building buildings, yes, we will need to go for a loan for sure. That
Right.
is not an option. But there's several ways to think about this. I mean, one of the strategies is build out the storage, right? Make it work really well for a year or two, sell that off and take that money and build the 20 units, additional unit, right? Because in the end, the 20 units is going to make you more money faster. But do we really want to sell the storage or not? I mean, that's an analysis that we would have to do going forward. But there's different strategies that we're looking into. But we won't know until we have the numbers. But we'll let you know.
Perfect.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if that's not, then feel free to send me additional questions. We'll definitely send this recording out.
Thanks,
Okay,
everybody. We appreciate your
Thank you.
support. We appreciate your support.
absolutely.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.